The Carolina Panthers are walking straight into a storm, and this weekend, in Buffalo, we'll find out whether this team is ready to fight through the thunder, or get washed away by it. All season long, Carolina has been a team that refuses to quit. Their record doesn't tell the full story, but the numbers do. And those numbers, heading into this clash with the Bills, paint a picture of a team that's learning to fight fire with grit. Offensively, it hasn't been perfect. The Panthers are averaging just over 20 points per game, not flashy, not headline-worthy, but enough to stay in battles. The passing game, sitting near the bottom of the league at 186 yards a game, has been a struggle. It's been a constant tug-of-war between potential and frustration, with Bryce Young still trying to find his rhythm in a system that's tested him every single week. But then there's the ground game, the identity of this team. Carolina is pounding out 140 rushing yards a game, third best in the entire NFL. When this offense gets moving downhill, it feels like a throwback to old-school football, relentless, physical, and proud. Defensively, this team has started to remind everyone why they're dangerous. 7th in total yards allowed, holding opponents to just under 22 points a game. It's not just a statistic, it's a reflection of a defense that's learning to play together again. The front seven has rediscovered its edge, shutting down the run to under 93 yards per game. They look disciplined, focused, confident. And now comes the real test, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. The reigning MVP, a quarterback who can torch defenses through the air and bulldoze them on the ground. The Bills are putting up nearly 28 points a game, with an offense that ranks among the most complete in football. But here's the catch, Buffalo's defense isn't invincible. They've given up over 156 rushing yards per game. That's a weakness Carolina can exploit. If the Panthers' offensive line can win at the line of scrimmage, and if that rushing attack stays true to form, this could be the kind of game that reminds the league what Carolina football really looks like, physical, fearless, and fueled by heart. The Panthers have heard the noise all season. Doubt. Criticism. Patience running thin. But as they step onto that field in Buffalo, they'll be staring at an opportunity, not just to win a football game, but to prove that this team's rebuild isn't about excuses. It's about identity. And for the first time in a long time, it feels like the Carolina Panthers know exactly who they are. Every NFL season has one game that flips the script, the one where a powerhouse walks in confident, and walks out stunned. And this Sunday in Charlotte might just be that game. On paper, everything points to Buffalo. The reigning MVP, a top-tier offense, and a team that hasn't lost after a bye week since 2017. Josh Allen himself. A perfect 7-0 coming off the bye. The Bills have the numbers, the talent, and the momentum. Every stat says they should win. But football isn't played on paper, it's played on heart, and that's where the Carolina Panthers come alive. This matchup isn't just offense versus defense. It's Carolina's soul, that punishing rushing attack, against Buffalo's biggest flaw, their run defense. The Bills give up over 150 yards a game on the ground. That's blood in the water for a Carolina team that's been climbing its way back to relevance behind one of the league's most physical rushing units. So here's the question, can the Panthers keep pounding and break Buffalo's rhythm? Because the other side of the coin is dangerous. Buffalo's aerial attack versus Carolina's secondary, that's where the Panthers have been tested all year. No one's hiding from it. Carolina's pass defense has had moments of brilliance, but it's also shown cracks under pressure. And when you've got Josh Allen staring across the line, fresh off rest, that's a terrifying matchup. Still, this feels different. There's a quiet confidence around this Panthers team. They're 3-0 at home. The locker room knows that the league isn't expecting them to win, and that's exactly what makes this game so dangerous for Buffalo. Because this is the kind of setup that turns into a trap. Buffalo comes in rested, confident, expecting to roll through a rebuilding Carolina team. But overlook a group that's been fighting tooth and nail every week, and suddenly you're in a fourth-quarter dogfight. And when that happens, All it takes is one mistake, one turnover, one missed tackle, one flash of momentum, for everything to swing Carolina's way. And don't sleep on Andy Dalton. Yeah, people love to write him off, he's old, he's washed, he's not Bryce. But Dalton is steady. He's been through chaos before. He's not the kind of quarterback who panics under pressure. You could do far worse at backup, and the Panthers know it. Give him a solid run game, protect him up front, and he'll give you a fighting chance. Speaking of protection, the new depth chart for Week 8 gave fans something to smile about. Austin Corbett stepping in behind Damian Lewis, a key boost for the interior line. Nick Sank backing up Cade Mays, adding flexibility. And maybe the biggest surprise, Jalen Coker leapfrogging Hunter Renfrow on the receiver chart. That's not just a lineup adjustment, it's a message. Youth is rising, and the coaches are starting to trust it. This game might not have the spotlight, but make no mistake, it's one of those prove-it moments. For the Panthers, it's a chance to show that the rebuild isn't about patience anymore, it's about pride that there's something special about this week. You can feel it in the air around Carolina's locker room. It's that quiet energy before kickoff, when players tape up their wrists and coaches tighten the game plan just a little more. And this week, the Panthers made some lineup moves that could make all the difference. First off, thank you, Coach Canales. For real, thank you for keeping Damian Lewis ahead of Austin Corbett on the offensive line. Lewis brings that mean streak Carolina needs up front, that attitude that says, "You're not touching my quarterback today." But let's all be honest, everyone's praying the same prayer right now, please, Damian Lewis, stay healthy. The guy's a warrior, but the Panthers can't afford another setback on that line. And speaking of the trenches, Nick Samak sliding in as the backup center. That's a move that makes sense. Reliable, tough, and consistent. Which also means one thing, no more Austin Corbett at center. Thank goodness. That experiment is over. Then comes one of the most interesting decisions on the depth chart, Jalen Coker jumping ahead of Hunter Renfrow at receiver. It's a bold move, but it makes sense. Coker's been grinding, showing flashes of that burst and body control that coaches love. Still, let's not forget what Hunter Renfrow brings, calm under pressure, veteran awareness, and versatility. Even if he's not starting, he needs to be active on game days. He's the kind of player who can sneak out on a third down and keep a drive alive when it matters most. You don't just bench experience. You use it when the game is on the line. If it were up to me, I'd stack that receiver room deep, T-Mac, Xavier, Jimmy Horn, Jalen Coker, Bryson Tremaine, and yes, Hunter Renfrow too. Keep them all active. Because in this league, one injury can change everything. And the Panthers need every weapon ready to go. But let's switch gears for a second, because Panthers fans, it's time for something we all secretly love, the Panther Pride Fantasy League update. Week 7 brought chaos. Upsets. Heartbreak. And a whole lot of trash talk. At the top, Skinny with 2 tats holds strong at 5-2, just edging out the Bryce is right and down 95. But the standings are getting tighter, and that playoff race is heating up. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, yeah, it's tough out here. S2 is still searching for that first win, sitting at 0-7, and man, that's pain. Real pain. And me? Still fighting, still clawing, sitting at 2-5, but not done yet. Not even close. This league's about comebacks, and I'm not going out without a fight. Even the power rankings shook up this week. Some fell, some climbed, and a few surprised everyone. It's the kind of energy that mirrors what's happening on the actual field, underdogs rising, big names falling, and nobody safe. And then there's that moment, the one every Panthers fan loves to see, the Panther Pride freeze frame of the day. After the game, Coach Canales and Bryce Young were all smiles. You could see it in their faces, that mix of pride and relief. It wasn't just a win. It was belief. That look said, we're finally turning the corner. We're finally finding who we are. For a team that's been doubted all year, that smile means everything. It means this locker room believes again. You can feel the nerves across Panthers Nation right now. The Buffalo Bills are rested. They're angry. They just came off a bye week after losing to Atlanta, and trust me, that team's not coming into this matchup calm or collected. They're coming in swinging. But here's the thing, Atlanta showed us something: the Bills can be beaten. They bleed like anyone else. And Carolina? We've got the pieces to make it happen, if we play smart. One of our fans, CFCCSM, said it perfectly: if Dave increases Rico's touches, the defense steps up, and the play calling is clean, we've got a chance. And that's the formula, right there. It's simple, but it's real. This offense looks completely different when Rico gets rolling. The defense just has to match that energy and punch first instead of reacting. You do that, and suddenly, you're the team making Buffalo uncomfortable. Another fan, DP12277, dropped some sharp analysis: start with play action. Attack deep. Get chunk yards. Then once the defense loosens, control the clock and break their will. I love that mindset. This Bills defense can be worn down if you hit them early and keep them guessing. Especially on third downs, Shacker and Kincaid are the danger zones. Those two keep drives alive, and if Carolina can contain them, Josh Allen's forced to play hero ball, and that's when mistakes happen. Everyone's got a role to play this week. The receivers need to block like it's their last snap, the defense needs to rally to every tackle, and the coaches need to stay aggressive. This isn't the week to play scared. This is the week to make a statement. So, Panther Nation, what do you think? Do you trust this team to rise to the moment? Can we stand toe-to-toe with Buffalo and show we belong? Drop your thoughts below, because we've seen flashes. Now it's time for Carolina to finish the fight.